It is 7 o'clock, and it's Monday, August 2nd. We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Here.
Commissioner Bauer, Commissioner Bospis-Rath,
Here.
Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Talentino,
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Seeing as how it's summer vacation season, we have three commissioners that need to be excused this evening. They did all call. Commissioner Bauer, Commissioner Twardy, and Commissioner Collins. Would anybody like to make that motion?
Can it be handled with one motion?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor, I'll do it. I'd like to excuse the members that aren't here this evening.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so if we, everybody that could stand, if you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. Item 4, mayor comments and general announcements. I'd like to thank our planning director, Kelly Freeman, for pinch hitting in the back today. Unfortunately, Bonnie Raphael, our IT director's father, died this morning, so we certainly have thoughts and prayers for their family and as they go through this difficult time. Moving on into C, which is public comment. Is there anybody that would like, in the audience, that would like to make any comments on our scheduled agenda items? You're certainly welcome to comment during public comment at the end, but this would be on any of our regular scheduled items. All right, seeing none, we'll move on into D, which is the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager, Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of July 19th, 2021. Item 2, acceptance of the Police and Fire Pension Board meeting minutes of June 23rd, 2021. Item 3, acceptance of the Seal and Osborne Trust Board meeting minutes of January 29th, 2021. Item 4, acceptance of the Sault Ste. Marie Housing Commission meeting minutes of May 20th and June 17th, 2021. Item 5, appointment of Andrew Rubenstein to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire June 1, 2024. Item 6, consideration of a change order for guardrail replacement and repairs B721. And item 7 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager. Is there any commissioner that would like any of the items removed for individual consideration? Or do you have any questions on any of the items? Seeing none, Commissioner Bospis-Rath.
Motion to approve consent agenda items as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? And we'll have to have a unanimous vote on everything tonight, I guess. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bospis-Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino.
Yes. Consent agenda passed. Thank you very much. E, special orders of business. City Manager Brian Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration is a request to schedule a public hearing to repeal a certain set of ordinances related to the city's ability of conducting mechanical code inspections. Currently, our building inspector, Ms. Aikinen, is retiring, and the incoming building inspector does not have that license, nor is it a common practice carried by building inspectors anymore. So in order to shift the responsibility to the state and work with the state agencies, we need to repeal this particular ordinance. So tonight, we would look for a motion to schedule a second reading for August 16th.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions or comments on this particular item? Commissioner Miller, would you like to make the motion?
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to schedule a second reading for the August 16th, 2021 City Commission meeting.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bospis-Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary.
Yes. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Item 2, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for consideration is a request to schedule a second reading for the August 16th, 2021 pertaining to some rezoning of some city-owned property up by the Sanderson Airport Park. We'd be switching it from its current designation of mixed residential, commercial, and industrial to a special airport designation established 2 meetings ago for this particular area. So tonight, we're just looking for a motion to schedule the second reading on August 16th.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions or comments on that item? Commissioner Talentino?
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to schedule a second reading on the August 16th, 2021 regular commission meeting.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bospis Rath.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Item number 3, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration and action is a public hearing regarding our application for Clean Water State revolving funds through the Department of Eagle. With us tonight is City Engineer Dave Boyle. He walked us through a presentation. This is a required step within the state revolving fund application process. Tonight, we will have a presentation, give the project specifics, talk about the application a little bit, receive any public comment regarding the project or the application, and then close out with a motion to approve the project plan as presented. With that, turn over to Engineer Dave Boyle.
All right, there you go. Mayor,
Welcome.
Commission, thanks for having me. All right, so part of our submittal, we have to have this public meeting to highlight our submitted project plan. The project plan is a requirement of getting the funds from Eagle. Next slide, please.
Just a second.
Okay. All right, so, this project that we're looking at is an infrastructure investment goal, so that what we're looking at is maintaining our regulatory compliance and operational performance. So what we're trying to do is close one of our CSOs, and I'll give you a little history on that. Okay, so way back in the day, most of the sewers were combined storm and sanitary sewers, but then back in the 1980s, EPA decided that, no, that wasn't any good, so we had to start separating sewers, storm and sanitary sewers. So the city's permit back in 1987 started this whole process of taking the combined sewers apart. As part of that, there was a plan that was put together, and the plan was based on 10 active CSOs at the time and 30% of the system which had combined flow. So the whole plan was 25 years. There was 5 major phases, and the last one was done just a couple of years ago. But even though that we did all that work in the city, we still have 4 or 5. We have 4 remaining CSOs, so there's open. The CSOs are combined sewer overflow, and some of that overflow goes out into the St. Mary's River. So we have 3 of them that are controlled, 1 that isn't controlled, and the one that isn't is right here in Water Street, and it discharges in the St. Mary's River, just right across the street through the core property. Just to show you, it's a little map where all the CSOs were at one time. The red ones are still open, and the black ones are ones that were closed during the previous projects. Okay, next. Okay, so right now we're in a permitting phase. Our NPDS permit for the water treatment plant is the sanitary sewer water treatment plant is coming up. So we've been negotiating with Eagle on how this is going to be. As part of it, we have to do a corrective action plan for these CSOs, and And there's also, and some known I&Is in the downtown area and some other capital upgrades that need to be done with the treatment plant, so. So the biggest CSO that we have right now is the Water Street CSO, so that's the one that we're trying to work on right now to close next. Okay, so the project plan that we're going to present, this is just the written part, but let's go to the next one. So where we're going to be working on is, right now we have two sewers that are in Ashman Street down by Maple. One on the west side is a continuous sanitary sewer that goes to the treatment plant. The sanitary sewer on the east side goes to Portage Avenue and discharges into a combined sewer system that comes down and discharges here in Water Street. So the plan is to put in a lift station at Maple, the intersection of Maple Street and Ashman, and lift the east side to the west side, so then it's complete sanitary sewer system. Once we get that done, then we can go to the manhole here that's in Water Street and close off the connection between the storm and the sanitary sewer. Okay, so next. So this is our, it's going to be kind of hard to see out there, but this, so go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, so when we close off the manhole in Water Street, we have some other issues there too, and the discharge line that goes through the core property right now is collapsing. It was put in pre-World War II. It was a steel pipe. It's rotted out. The core right now is going to put in a sleeve in from the river towards Water Street probably this month because they have a lot of sinkholes over there. So we're going to try to get to the least of the first manhole with that part. But when we get this other part and we can close the CSO, then we're going to go in and we're going to line the rest of the pipes that discharge out there. So there's the main discharge, and then there's one in Portage Avenue that comes in there too that we're going to line, so then we don't have this issue again. So go ahead and go to the next one. As part of our plan that we have to put together, we have to look at project options, and we have to look at three types of things here. We have no action, optimizations, or regionalization alternative. Well, the no action part, isn't going to get us anything because we're not going to close this outflow, and in the future we could possibly start getting in non-compliance and fines, so we don't want to get to that portion. Regionally, it's not really helping us anything regionally. We're just trying to close this one major CSO. So the only option really is the optimization one, is to close the CSO. Go ahead. Some of the other parts that we had to look at for looking at that non-stuff were these advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so go ahead to the project cost. Okay, so the main thing is the project cost. We're looking at about $1.2 million for this project. So because we're working with the Corps on this discharge over here, we were able to submit for a Section 219 environmental infrastructure program. So with that money, we're around $768,000, and then we look to the Eagle to get the rest of the money, which is about $437,000. As part of the review we did, we put in for a disadvantaged community designation, which we were granted on this submittal. Go ahead, next one. So cost of the users on this, the projects should not impact user cost or rate increase. For a large part of the debt obligations for the old CSO projects are come close, and so we feel there's going to be significant funds to cover the loan. But then another part of this is that because we got a disadvantaged community designation, the loan could possibly be forgiven, so it could be moved to grant, but we're not counting on that just yet. So it's not a guarantee. Okay, go to the schedule. All right, so we're hoping to construct this project next summer. Right now, we're running a little bit behind because we don't have a commitment to the funding yet. As soon as we get the commitment to the funding and we know we're going to have the money, then it's a pretty complicated project, so we're going to have to find a consultant to help us out with this project. So as soon as we know that, then we'll go and get a consultant and start working on it. So we still have a possibility that we could get it done next year, but it all depends upon how things turn out here. Okay. All right, so another part of our thing we have to look at is environmental impacts that the project is going to have. So most of the project is going to be within existing developed right-of-way, so we're really not going to be impacting things environmentally. We also found that we're not significantly impacting any cultural or other environmental sensitive resources. Go ahead to the next one. And then we have to, also part of our plan, we have to discuss how we're going to mitigate things. So the big mitigation items are going to be like traffic, safety, dust and noise, erosion, all things that we would develop when we're putting the plans together. So all right, I think go to the last one, and that's it.
All right, thank you, Dave.
All right.
Does the commission have any questions or comments or anything they want to make for Dave? We do have to work in a public hearing, so I don't know if you want to open the public hearing first, Mr. Mayor, or have a discussion first.
Well, let's open the public hearing and see if we get any questions or comments from the public, so. So we will now hold a public hearing on Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Plan for the Water Street CSO project. Is there anybody in the audience that has any comments or questions during this public hearing? So again, this is a public hearing on the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Plan for the Water Street CSO project as outlined by City Engineer David Boyle. Any questions or comments? Okay, we'll now close the public hearing for the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Plan. Anything from the City Commission? Any questions or comments for the city manager or city engineer? Commissioner Miller.
I'd like to ask the city engineer how much what would the cost be for the consultant that you're going to have help you? I didn't see a cost estimate in here. If it's in there, I overlooked it, I apologize.
We have in the budget, engineering, legal, and administrative, total cost at $223,000.
Can you tell me where that is, Mr.
Yep, if you scroll down a
Manager?
little bit further, it's in the fiscal impact, right there. Engineering, legal, and admin.
I didn't see consultant, okay, got it, thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else? Now, did you say we do or do not have a commitment that after this project, it would close out all of our requirements under CSO?
Say your question again?
Will we be out of this CSO
No,
mess?
no,
Or we have the three other ones that we have to close out then?
no, we have the other ones we have
Okay.
to close out too.
All right. Any other questions or comments? So it looks like we need a motion to approve the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Project Plan for the Water Street CSO project pending funding. Commissioner Talentino?
I'll make the motion as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes?
Commissioner Baspas Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you very much, Dave.
You get everything we need, Dave? Did we get everything we needed for that one? Okay.
Process went.
Within that item was a resolution. Could you also make a resolution or a motion to approve the resolution as presented as well, please?
Copy that, yeah. Make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? A roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Yes?
Commissioner Baspas Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino.
Yes.
Motion passed. Now we're good, right? All right. Moving on into G, business items. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration is a request regarding to the downtown access placemaking project. There are two motions associated with this request. Motion to award the bid to Ventura for downtown access placemaking project amenities in the bid amount of $47,078. And then a motion to amend the project budget by $9,100 based on the as-built adjusted projected outline on the sources and uses summary as presented. So this request is the downtown access placemaking project. It is the purchasing of the various amenities in that area. As has been consistent with this project, it came in a little bit over bid. So we are shifting a little bit of funds as is documented in the attached sources and uses there. So two motions, motion to approve the purchase and a motion to amend the project budget.
Any questions or comments for the city manager? Commissioner Baspas Rath.
Motion to award the bid to lower bidder Ventura, a Michigan company, for the downtown assess and placemaking project amenities in the bid amount of $47,078.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Baspas Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary.
Yes. Motion passed. Commissioner Baspas Rath.
Motion to amend the amenity project budget by $9,100 based on the adjusted project outlined in the sources and the use summary as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Baspas Rath.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you very much. Item 2, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a continuation of a project that started back in January 2021. This particular item is a request to purchase and replace the new filters at the water treatment plant, filters number 2 and number 3. This particular item has two motions associated to it. A motion to suspend the competitive bid process and a motion to purchase the two orders of media with shipping costs estimated at total price of $32,528. So speaking of the first motion to suspend the competitive bid process, these are specialty items. We started the project back in January 2021, awarding this bid to West Tech Engineering LLC because the filters need to match one another, and this is a separate project that's being budgeted under the current capital improvement program. We're making a request to suspend that competitive bid process, mostly so that the filters match up and they're the same all the way throughout the plant. And then the next motion would be to purchase the media for total project price of $32,528. She got some water.
Any questions for the city manager on this one? Commissioner Miller, the long two-part motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to suspend the competitive bid process for West Tech Engineering LLC as they are the sole source for filtration media and supplies related to our water plant filters.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Moved and supported. Any questions or comments? A roll call, please.
Mayor Gary,
Here, yes.
Commissioner Bassbus Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
thank you, Your Honor.
Motion passed.
Motion to purchase 2 orders of media, one for filter number 2 and one for filter number 3 for the amount of $20,228 with shipping cost estimated at $12,300 for an estimated purchase total of $32,528.
Support.
There's a motion and support. Any questions or comments? A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bassbus Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes,
Motion passed. Thank you very much. Item 3 for the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to amend a fee schedule associated with the Meter Violation Bureau. Long story short, currently what the process is our meter enforcement officer, if she comes across a vehicle that is at an expired meter, her system automatically detects if it's a vehicle's first violation or not. If it's a first violation, the machine records it. We are charged a fee per transaction, and then we print the warning and put it on the window. The paper and the fee associated with that transaction is a considerable amount in the grand scheme of the budget for this particular function. So what we are requesting is to amend the fee structure so that we're not giving warnings out to first offenses, and we'd actually be citing a fine for the first offense. So we'd be amending the fee structure for first offense to $10, second offense to $15, and any and all subsequent offenses to $20. Given the state of the parking fund, which is subsidized by the general fund, we feel this would be a good move to help balance that fund a little bit better. Also in this item, there's another request to approve the fee schedule as presented. That's a larger item. There was just a couple typos in the entire fee schedule document, so we would look for adoption of that as well.
Thank you, city manager. Any questions for him on this one? Commissioner Miller.
thank you, Your Honor. So our cost right now for giving out a warning with paper and our fee is $1.45?
The transaction fee is $1.45. We did not factor in the ticket paper, but the ticket paper is pretty expensive. It's a special heat type of paper for that portable printer, and it does add up when you're issuing quite a bit of warning tickets.
So the cost is more than $1.45 then?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Commissioner Talentino, do you want to make the motion?
Sure, Your Honor. Motion to eliminate the meter violation warning and amend the associated fee schedule. First offense, $10, second offense, $15, and all subsequent offenses, $20.
Support,
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bassbus Rath,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary.
Yes. Motion passed. Thank you very much. Item H is city manager announcements and updates. Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. You're right.
Motion to approve the fee schedule as presented.
Support,
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Mayor Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Bassbus Rath.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you very much. I guess I can't tell when there's not a number 2 in front of it. Item H, city manager announcements and updates. City
All
manager
right.
Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for my updates today, we are providing you with a finalized copy of the citizen survey that LSSU sophomores conducted for us earlier this winter. Just kind of a quick rundown of the survey itself. So we solicited some feedback from LSSU students on whether or not they wanted to conduct a citizen survey for us. The class of about 5 students was very enthused to do this project for us, as it was some actual work that they could put on their resume. Our original goal was about 500 to 600 respondents. If we met that mark, given our population for the city, it would have held a little bit more statistical validity, but we only hit about 241 residents. And there's probably a bit of process issues as we were working with LSSU, which we'll straighten out for next year. But, in general, the survey does provide a decent snapshot on some of the key outcomes that we would be looking towards within our community here. So there's a series of use of services, how often they use them, quality of services. For the most part, the scale that we use for quality of services is a 1 to 5, 5 being top-notch and 1 being below expectations. If you look at the quality of services, for the most part, they do fall in at a 3. A couple of them exceed expectations. For the most part, though, they are at 3, so that's pretty positive. Also included in with the survey is the unedited written comments that we received from participants. Some of those, if you go through them and really look for the big buckets that people are looking for within the city, a lot of it revolves around transportation issues. So it's no surprise the state of our roads within the city aren't very good, right? We don't have to hide that or run away from that, but most of the comments do speak to the condition of the streets, and it is backed in by the numbers in terms of what work needs to be done. Another thing that really jumps out at staff and I when we discussed the survey was the demand for more walkable assets. So more sidewalks, more biking trails, the walkways along the waterfront. That was a common theme that the city's heard before too. So a lot of good information in here. It does help us kind of narrow our focus moving forward in terms of bringing projects to the commission for consideration. With our limited budget, limited resources, and limited time, we want to make sure that we're focusing on projects the community in general want to see, and certainly roads and more walkable assets are going to be one of those things. So we'll look to do this survey every year, so we have a baseline, some comparison as we move forward. Like I said, there was process issues between myself, my office, and LSSU that we've streamed out, and we'll make sure that we're able to get more responses to make it more statistical relevant next year. So with that, if there's any questions or anything related to this, be happy to entertain them.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions or comments? I think you did a great job at analyzing it. That was the main thing that I got out of it was roads are bad and everybody loves police and fire and doing a lot of things right, but there certainly is always room for improvement. So thanks very much to Dr. Melissa Schaefer-O'Connell and Instructor Greg Rathje and the sophomore seminar class, Poly 202. I think that's a good template for going forward for the future. And are they going to do that annually? Is that the plan?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
yep.
I think that'll be good. Keep all the trends moving forward. So thank you very much. Commissioner Talentino.
Now, is that going to be posted on the website, City Manager?
It will be, yes. We want to give it to you all first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I found a lot of the comments interesting, and a lot of them fell into our 6-year plan. So I think people should also take a look at what we plan for our 6 years out, because a lot of those are covered within in that plan. So
Thanks. Anybody else? All right, moving into item I, which is matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments before the commission at this time? We need your name and your address, please. Sure. If you'd like to come to the podium, we have a microphone for you.
Good evening. I'm Joanne Galloway, and I do currently live in Lansing. However, I've had the opportunity to work in the Eastern Upper Peninsula for the last year and a half as the executive director for the Center for Change. I've been working remotely, and I'm excited to actually be back in the area. So I actually come bearing very exciting news. So the Center for Change is partnering with the Eastern Upper Peninsula Intermediate School District. We had the opportunity to attend the UP-wide broadband meeting earlier this year, and we walked away very excited, but a little bit skeptical. So, and of course, that happens. Some people come and promise us things sometimes, and then it never really happens, right? So, but we've had the opportunity, I really trust Jason Kronemeyer, the technology director at the Eastern Upper Peninsula Intermediate School District. He's kind of been my hero over the years when we talk about connectivity, and Jason's excited. This is what he wanted 20 years ago, should have had 10 years ago, and he's really excited it's happening now. So it's because of the work of the Eastern Upper Peninsula Intermediate School District and the EUP Regional Planning that we are sitting where we're at today, and that, let me think of the number, $35 million in fiber optic build contracts have been awarded for the Eastern Upper Peninsula through the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund through the Federal Communications Commission. They already have supplies on the ground in the region. I know that they've had an engineer who's been staying at a campground in Cedarville, as a matter of fact, who's been doing some of the pre-engineering work. So that's very exciting. So a quality broadband network has long been the goal of the Eastern Upper Peninsula. So between the EUP-ISD and the regional planning, they've worked towards that goal for several years. They've invested a considerable amount of time, energy, and money. Now, with the funds coming from the American Rescue Plan Act and with the Rural Digital Opportunity Funds and other sources, this common goal is actually within reach. The stars have aligned. It's time. So having completed, it's been actually very interesting as I've done research and work to come up to speed on who's doing what when it comes to broadband across the state. Amazingly enough, the experts are right here in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. We're actually positioned to be the leaders within the state and potentially across this country to show people how to get it done, to get every 911 address, high-speed internet in their home, not in a car, parked outside the town hall, with the car running when we actually wanted to be at work or wanted to be doing the laundry or the dishes or preparing food for our families. So anyway, I will be planning for one of the core team members from the EUP Connect Collaborative, which is the new group that the EUP-ISD is forming, and we are asking all of the municipalities in the Eastern Upper Peninsula to come together and work together because it's been proven that working independently is not getting the job done. We are asking each of the municipalities to contribute financially to support the collaborative so that we'll be able to hire staff that will be dedicated to solving this problem. So the amount that we're asking each of the municipalities for was based off of 3% of your American Rescue Plan funds. The amount for the Sioux City Commission would be $42,139.56. I shared several documents with Robin earlier today that she'll share with you electronically, and I brought paper copies today. Is it all right to hand those out to the people in the audience? Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, and I can do that as I sit down. So I'm at 3 minutes and 48 seconds. I think it's time that I just wrapped up in saying I'm here because the Center for Change is committed to investing our resources to support this work. As an organization, we'll be investing tens of thousands of dollars this year, educating and informing our neighbors about this project. So we hope that you'll consider joining us, and we'll be back next at your next meeting to ask for you to make a decision and a commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Good information. Look forward to seeing you again with update.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience have anything to bring up before the commission? Looks like you're the designated speaker tonight. Yeah, if you could state your name and residence
Is it
for the
on?
record, please.
Okay, my name is Michelle Bull. My residence is 711 Peck Street. I'm here about the sewage backup in our basements. Bull, B-O-L-E. Unfortunately, I am here because I would think that our city would just cover this, as far as we are all a working class, and we all have basements that have been ruined. I myself am looking at about $10,000 in damage. I need to replace my water heater, my washer, my dryer, Pay to clean it, I have a crawling infant that can't be down there. All my Christmas decorations, furniture, cribs, bedding is ruined. I had about 10 inches of sewage in my basement. That, from what I understand, was the city's fault. I am lucky enough that I have homeowners insurance that covers sewage, but it's not their responsibility to do it. And I think I have most of my neighborhood here that we all feel the same way. So I have my claim form right here. Like I said before, I don't even think I should have to be here. I think I should be able to turn it in and it be covered. My construction has started on my basement due to my homeowner's insurance and knowing that I have something to cover it. But my home insurance went up this year alone because of lumber, and I don't want to put in a claim to have it go up again next year. So that's all I have. I don't know what else. If anyone else has anything else.
We've all been impacted by it. Several of us here, we had about $30,000 in damage.
Could you come up to the microphone? We're televised, so we want to make sure that everybody can hear us. So thank you, Michelle. If you could give your
My
name
name's
and.
Don Dunning. I've talked to Ms. Troyer, yes.
Okay.
There's a whole community of us that are here that were impacted by this. Now, we've been in our house, owned our house since 2005. This is the 6th, 7th time that this has happened. This time was a major time, up over 10 inches to 12 inches, took out our furnace, took out our hot water heater, washer, dryer. I am a cancer patient, unfortunately. So most of my bills been to 2 surgeries and radiation treatments, and I have an upcoming radiation treatment coming up. Our home insurance covered $5,000 of that so far. Just to get my furnace back up and running, it cost me almost $600. I still haven't had it professionally cleaned yet. I have no hot water at all. Our water heater is completely dead. The washer and dryer that we purchased a year and a half ago is out. It's completely gone. I have plenty of pictures if you guys would like to see the damage and what the street too, from where it was coming up in the street. This is something that we've brought to the commission over the past 16 years. I've called at least twice on my own, not to mention some of the neighbors, and we were always told it was a quote-unquote act of God. Nothing could be done. At this point, something really needs to be changed. So I'm living in a very smelly home right now because I can't afford to clean it. So.
All right. Thank you. Any other?
Hello, I'm here for Eureka Street, next to Peck Street. I'm sure you're aware of the situation. This has been going on for 30 to 40 years. You're all aware of it. If not, you should look up your records. You guaranteed us and promises that you're going to do something about the site. You never have. 2 promises. You've never done anything. And this continues to go on. Insurance companies won't pay for it anymore. I'd like to know what you're going to do. It's time you have a meeting and get it together, because people are pretty sick of it. You know, that's a long time. Rebuttal, say something, no?
What was your name? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Deborah, Houdini. Look up your records. See how many times people have been here over the 30 years, or 40. And how many promises were made? And it all fell through. And a lot of it had to do when you build the housing for the college people, and that's when a lot of the problems started happening. It was coming down Sheridan Drive. Now, do you have anything to clean up? Really, that's it? Is it gonna be shut on the garage or what?
No, we wanted to hear all the comments, and I think the city manager will have a couple of comments after we've heard all of the audience. So just trying to be respectful and listen to everybody.
30 years.
My name's Ryan Delsky. I've lived down on Peck Street for 2.5 years now. This is the 3rd time my basement's flooded with sewer. First 2 times we didn't say anything about it because we just figured it rained and that's what it was. Well, the 3rd time we're close to $25,000. I'm probably pushing $8,000 in cleaning fees, my furnace, my hot water heater, my washer and dryer all ruined. I mean, as these 2 know, I know a lot of people in this city, and I was told by the 2 employees that came down that it was the city's fault that that happened. I'm not gonna throw names, but I've talked to a lot of people that work in the city that said this has been an ongoing issue and that it should be covered. I mean, I can't dish out another $30,000 next week. I mean, if it happens again when it floods tomorrow when it rains, are you guys gonna come pay for my basement to be cleaned again? And my washer and dryer again? So, come take care of the issue.
Thanks, Ryan. Any other residents?
I'll come up.
All right.
No, I'm just a tenant, my landlord doesn't live there, but, which complicates my situation even more. I'm Linda Kowalski, by the way.
Okay.
So, yeah, same thing on Peck Street, 10 to 12 inches flooded the basement, ruined 2 sets of washer and dryers, a stove, a couch, bunch of other personal memorabilia items that I'm sure anybody can say, if you have the memorabilia items, they're irreplaceable. They're gone forever. You're not gonna keep something that's saturated with raw sewage. Unfortunately, most of us, we don't have that kind of money to have it cleaned. And it has to be cleaned. We can't live in those environments. It's a health, safety risk. Not only the fact that now that the furnaces are destroyed, COVID spreads. COVID spreads through the sewers and through furnaces. My understanding is it has been an ongoing issue that has not been addressed. It needs to be fixed. The whole neighborhood smells like sewage. My backyard now, from all the debris that I had to bring in from the basement, there's flies all over. And I can't get a dumpster yet to get rid of it because we have to wait for the adjuster to come and look at everything. I'm asking that everybody being reimbursed for the fees that they have had to pay to have them cleaned. And to have a dumpster put outside on Peck Street so we can get rid of all of our junk, because we have to pay for all of that. The water that's being used from our households to clean, that's kind of unfair and unjust as well. Maybe some type of an adjustment there. There's just a lot at stake here, and it has to be done. A lot of us have young children. A lot of us have health concerns. We can't be breathing in those spores. We can't be around it. It's ungodly, disgusting. I did bring pictures, if yous wanted to look at them, but I think you're kind of getting the point now. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
I'm Joe Billow. My daughter and a friend of mine, my daughter's on Peck, she's up on Eureka. And yes, this is the third time, as Ryan said, we've dealt with this, and I got pictures of the sewer, not pictures, video on my phone of the sewer, shooting out of the sewer, just sewage. And it's just, this is worse. Feces and everything else in the house. The only thing I can do is I'm gonna get a trash pump. I'm sticking it in the floor, 6 inch. The next time this happens, I'll go door to door. I'm blasting it out onto the street. City can take care of it, because why flood these basements? It's ridiculous. I heard some valves were turned off, and this is why this happened. For what reason, I don't know, but it's getting ridiculous.
It was by an ex-city employee that told me that
Yeah.
the valve was shut off.
There's 1 or 2 valves that have been shut down because they wanted to stop the flow of possibly getting in the water, you know, the river, which I see, but it's gonna get there anyways when I get this pump, because it's gotta go somewhere rather than these basements. We jackhammered a big hole in the floor a year and a half ago, put a sump pump in. Of course, sump pumps, you know, they don't let crap go out. But this new pump will. It's a trash pump. This stuff's going out. I don't know what else to do with it, rather than flood these basements, and I'll pull it up and go house to house. I mean, it's 200-pound pump, and it's made to go in the sewer. I mean, I'll pull the cap up and blow it out of the sewer if I have to, rather than these houses flooding. I mean, 6-inch, and this is gonna blow. So just so everybody's warned, there will be a mess for the city to clean up all over the street down there.
Well, essentially, our road is with the canal. So if this isn't our
Thank you.
basement, and it's gonna be on the road, I mean, water, just water, my sister does water for the tribe. It's going into our water system no matter what, whether it's in our front yard and soaking into the ground, or it's across the street in the canal, running through there. I mean, the water on the pavement is getting into our ground and into our systems, period. That's pollution, right? The oil's going with it, the dirt's going with it.
If anybody wants to see the video, I got it.
Okay,
Of it shooting out of the sewer.
all right, thank you.
The manhole,
Sen-
yeah.
Yeah, any other residents have any comments?
I'd like to know for
Could you come up to the microphone?
family that lives there,
Could you come up to the microphone so that,
is the overflow valves closed up in that area because then you would have to report
sir,
overflows to
Could-
Eagle?
sir, we have audience on television and on internet, so we want to make sure that everybody can hear what the question is.
My family's living up on Peck,
Sure.
going through all this.
Yep.
I'd like to know why it's become a chronic condition that nobody is taking care of. I don't understand this. Is the overflows out there shut off because you would have to report the sewage dumped into the canal to Eagle, where you don't have to report basements flooded with sewage? What's going on here? You should be liable for a chronic condition that you have no plan put forward to the public to fix. You should have to pay for every nickel of their damage, all past damages, all future damages, until you get that sewer separated and fixed like you did with the rest of the city.
Okay, thanks for your comments, sir.
I seen on that, real quick there, you moved so fast. Is the sewer separation project gonna be all paid for shortly, so it's up, it's gonna be done?
No,
It kinda looked like that's what you were saying there.
there was 4 more phases, so.
I mean, from the past, that 25-year last,
Well, as debt drops off, new debt comes on because we have 4 more required phases, so unfortunately, it never goes away. There are always upgrades to all the systems that need to be done.
how many more you got 4 more systems? just
Yeah,
like
and then
that?
we have a sewer plant that has issues, and we have a water plant that has issues, and so there are always,
How many of them are still in the
constructions.
basements, houses
I
with
I
babies?
couldn't tell you at this point, sir.
You know, the other thing too is I know
Well,
people
the-
that work at the.
Microphone, please.
I know a lot of people that work at the water treatment plant and at the waste treatment plant. Some reason I was told that there was 8 feet of water in that basement, sewer. So does that mean that can't handle it, so it's backing up the whole entire town? So that means you guys
I'm not
have an issue
understanding
as
the question.
well.
So you're talking about the wastewater treatment plant, correct?
Yep.
Yes, so can I
Sure,
Okay.
city manager.
So what happens is, long time ago, the sewer systems used to be combined, right? Sanitary and stormwater was one and the same. And it all ran to the wastewater treatment plant. At a certain point, the EPA and Eagle came out and said you have to separate them. Part of the reason why the separations were necessary, it's a capacity issue. So when there's a large rain event that comes in, like last Thursday, where we get 2.5 inches of rain in 5 hours, it's collected throughout the entire city, it dumps into these systems, it hits the wastewater treatment plant, which is under capacity for a storm event like that, and then it just backs up. So yes, the wastewater treatment plant was flooded last Thursday. That's because there's a capacity flaw, which just creates the whole domino effect going backwards. So the city has been for the last 30 years finding and closing various CSOs, taking out drain spouts throughout the city, whole bunch of different activities. 30 years, tens of millions of dollars, and we're at the tail end of everything right now. Now, with Peck and Meridian, the area that you all live in, there is a plan. There was a plan, and I can't necessarily speak to where it was at in the past. The people around the table now that are addressing those plans, I've been the longest one here at 1.5 years. So Dave Boyle, our engineer, he's been here about 1 year. Kirk Too's over in the back corner, he's been here about 1 year. Masterson's not here, but he's been with the city about 2 months. Oh, he is here. Where is he? Your hat, you get me, man. So we have two things that we're looking at. We're looking at a short-term solution and a long-term solution. Long-term solution is gonna be the one that's harder to swallow. It's about $3.5 million. It involves ripping up all your streets, putting in new storm, a little bit more capacity, and there's some other infrastructure that needs to be replaced at the same time. I think your
Okay,
water
if
lines.
that happens, we're not paying higher taxes.
Okay.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay,
You're
so,
not gonna rip up our street because of your guys' issue and then charge us for it.
okay.
I want it
so
coming out of your pocket and everybody else's pocket. in the
I live
city.
here, so my taxes do pay for a lot of that
Good.
stuff too. So it will come out of my pocket. But
Right.
anyways, so that's the
But
long
I know
term.
he lives right up the road from me,
Okay,
so I wanna switch him houses when this shit happens.
okay. Can I continue? Okay, so that's the long-term solution. It's a big project, lots of money. Same thing we'll do with this project that we're doing right now with the Bingham Water. We'll get funding, hopefully from the Army Corps of Engineers, possibly Eagle, what other funding sources that we can find to minimize any kind of rate increase. And as the mayor commented earlier, all the debt that's been on the city for decades because of the other CSOs is about to fall off. So when that falls off, we add on more, you won't see a rate increase anyways, hopefully. So in the short term, because those projects take time, the funding requests do take time, we've identified a few different short-term options. One of them, I think I spoke to some of you about, was installing backflow preventers on your sanitary service leads that connect to it. So if there is another big storm where we get a ton of rainwater that comes in, that water will back up, it'll hit that backflow preventer, and then go somewhere else. So we're looking at an impact of probably about 30 different residences that will install these backflow preventers on. So, short-term solution should help address any large rain event that comes in. And there was two prongs to that short-term one. What was the other one we talked about, Kurt? Oh, sorry. That's really sensitive. Or Brian, remind me, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, so again, a lot of the system, so the issue isn't that there's a clog per se in the system. It's a capacity issue. So imagine a cup like this with a pitcher of water like this, and you're dumping into it. At a certain point, it's gonna fall through. So if we do this Bingham Water project, if we look for other sources of infiltration, stormwater getting in the sanitary sewer system, we're creating capacity in the system. So it's not even necessarily that it's just your area that is a problem. It's connected to a much larger system, and there's these few key projects that we're going out that will hopefully create capacity. At the wastewater treatment plant, we're looking at doing a few modifications there to increase the capacity of the plant. If we can process more water coming through the plant, clean it, get it out to the river, that's not gonna back up the system as much. So there's a lot of different attacks that we're utilizing on this problem. Some will take longer. I will recognize that. But in the short term, we are gonna work with the property owners to put in backflow preventers that'll help any kind of impact like this. Now, the question always is, why hasn't the city done this in the past? I don't know. Different team, different thinking, I'm not 100% sure. But we know it's an issue. We do have a plan moving forward. We have a long-term solution, and we have a short-term solution. So right now, we're gathering the prices on the backflow preventers. The cost is gonna work. We'll have to have an agreement to enter on your property. We're not gonna charge you per se for those, but we still have to get on your private side utilities so we can do this work. So there'll be some paperwork that you'll have to do, but we are trying to address the issue. And why, again, why it hasn't happened, why it's taking this long, I can't tell you. I can only tell you what we're doing moving forward.
What's the timeframe, this summer yet?
We're hoping for the backflow preventers this summer, yes, sir. Yep.
So on the issue that is in front of us, there was all of our money being put out now. I think that's why we're all here. As the Atlas guy told me, the old city manager told me to go in there and clean up and send them the bill.
Right.
The new city manager won't let me do that.
No.
So I think our forefront of our problem is that we're all out the money now.
Right.
I'm
And
going
that's,
to work tomorrow with not a paycheck coming in next week to pay for what needs to be replaced.
all that stuff goes to the insurance company and they'll decide and pay it out that way. We don't process.
You guys are being liable. If I were to run into a city fence, you guys would send me a bill. I wouldn't say go to my insurance company. You guys, that would already be liable. You guys are liable. Like, we shouldn't have to wait for your insurance to neglect it or accept Like, you guys are liable, like, well, how do insurance neglect it?
I'm not even saying they will or won't neglect it, but we handle all these things through the insurance company, because that's what insurance companies do, right? Same thing with your car. If you got in an accident, you have a premium, or not a premium, you have a deductible that could exceed that expense, right?
Right.
Right, we have the same thing. So we can either, if it's a lot of money, let's just say it's a ton of money, if that comes straight out of our budget, you're gonna pay that as a ratepayer anyways.
Right, understand.
So we have insurance, just like you have insurance for everything else.
So at this point, we all need to turn in our paperwork and then wait for your insurance. How long should we be waiting to find out the answer from your insurance company?
So I believe we talked to the insurance company last Friday and today, and we told them to expedite a lot of all this stuff. So the adjusters have to come up, they still have to do other paperwork, but we have put in a request to expedite it and make it as quick as possible.
Yeah, because they need heat, water,
Right,
wash, driving.
right.
From what I read under the Eagle guidelines, if you've got a chronic condition that hasn't been addressed, has been going on this long, you are liable under their standards, from what I read on it.
And what is that listed under?
Under the Eagle standards, for the separation of sewer and water and all that whole thing, you know. It's a chronic condition that existed for years, and it's never been taken care of, and they've got the financial burden to it. From what I read on it, when that exists, and the city has done nothing about it all these years, that makes you liable.
I'm not sure what you're referring to from the Eagle. I'm not. I know it's in our, it's being built into our discharge permit.
Is there rules to this governing your city sewer and water?
So in the meantime, what do you want us to do with like the VC basements and all the dirty stuff? I mean, we just let it sit there until the insurance money comes through and we don't do anything? Well, I mean, I'm not doing that, but, I mean, I have no hot water, can't take showers, I mean, you know how hard it is to take a very cold shower in the morning? What do we do about this stuff?
Does Robin
So I
have,
get the insurance money, I can't do anything, which means I can't live.
does Robin have your contact information?
I believe I gave it to you Friday, or, yeah, when I talked.
Just, I think it's just, everybody has their forms into Robin, right? Or have some kind of forms.
I'm waiting on a couple of estimates for some of the stuff.
Yeah, I think we're all waiting on
Before I said my-
Okay, but everybody knows of the forms and knows the tournament of the city, correct?
Provided that.
Okay. We will call the insurance company again, push them, get some more direction from them pertaining to your situations, and we will be contacting you late tomorrow. Robin wanted to say something to me.
May I speak?
You may.
So I talked to the claims rep, the adjuster today. She is reaching out to the homeowners. I know she spoke to some of the homeowners. I need your claim information. If you haven't given me a claim form, I need that to get the claim set up so the adjuster can reach out to you. They are working on it, and they are talking to the homeowners. So the quicker you get the information into me, the quicker your claim gets processed. They are expediting it, and they are working to reach each of the homeowners. So if you get a call, follow up with them as soon as possible.
I'll have that in you tomorrow. Like I said, we're waiting for some estimates still for the stuff that was damaged on.
And if you don't have it, if you just get that one-sheet claim, I don't need pictures, I don't need videos, I don't need, that adjuster will get all of that information. The most important thing is just to get the claim report so they can get you set up in the system and make contact with you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody else have any? So everybody knows the direction, and we appreciate the dialogue, and we appreciate your patience, and certainly you have all our sympathies. I've had it happen to me, and it's not a pretty thing, and we certainly know what you're going through, so. And I think as Robin said, if you need any help, certainly reach out to the city clerk / deputy city manager, and we'll get you any help that you need with the paperwork, so. Anything else on that topic? Thank you very much. All right, moving on into matters presented by the city commission. We have a short bench here tonight, so anybody have anything? I have a sheet I'm going to pass around from Linda at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. She wanted me to make sure that we were all aware and that the public's all aware to look on their community calendar on SaultStMarie.com and The Connor Gorsuch Kids Fishing Day was a success this past weekend. Coming up on Friday, August 6th is UP City Fest. And the 2021 Biennial Trans-Superior International Yacht Race is happening again this year. It was off the last, but on August 7th. And then on August 7th, also the Twin Sioux Cruisers Annual Car Show. And then the Masters Walleye Tournament circuit is August 13th through 14. And then there are a lot of other items, but there are after our next meeting, so I'm sure somebody will mention those. So lots going on in the Sioux besides rain events, so certainly let's keep the events moving forward. So anybody have any other?
I love seeing the I-500 for February.
Yeah, that looks good, eh, to see it
After
again?
last year, nothing, that's great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, optimistic. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a couple of questions about some parcels of property in Sault Ste. Marie that basically I've just heard rumors about, but I was wondering if anyone on the commission or if the city manager has some more information for me. I'm interested in the, across the street here, the Sioux Corner Store. Originally, a few weeks ago, I heard it was purchased for a dental facility by a couple of dentists. And now I've heard that the Sioux Tribe is interested in buying it. Also, the Tanglewood Marsh Golf Course, I know for the last few months it's been up for sale. It's my understanding now that Bay Mills Tribe has put an offer on it, or maybe they've closed that deal already, I'm not sure. Do you have any information on rumors like that, or anything solid?
Anything out of my mouth would be rumor, so.
Well, I don't want to.
I would check the register of deeds and see if you've seen any real estate deeds go through.
Well, I don't want to perpetrate any
Yeah.
more rumors either. Like I said, I heard two different things for the two pieces of property, but I guess I have more questions about it, but until we know who's buying which pieces of property, I guess my other questions are kind of mute right now.
I will look into it and follow up with you.
Okay. I've had numerous people ask me, and it kind of caught me off guard. I didn't, and this is nothing I've seen on Facebook, this is nothing I've seen on social media. This is people come up to me and said, hey, I thought there was some dentists buying the Sioux Corn Store. Now I hear the tribe's buying it. And,
Yeah, no, we got hit with the same rumor,
I'm kind of interested
though.
on where these pieces of property are gonna fall under the taxes, or if they're gonna fall into some type of trust land.
Right.
Thank you.
Good question, no idea. Anybody else? Commissioner Talentino, you want to make a motion?
Motion to adjourn for this evening.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.